Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Feeding Fatty. This is Roy.
This is Terry.
So, we are the podcast. We are chronicling my journey through getting healthy again, diet, exercise, changing mindset. And we talk from time to time about the struggles and things that we do, and Terry's support for that. We also have professionals as guests from time to time to come on and help us out, give us some different viewpoints on things that we can do better to help us in this journey. Today is no different. Terry, I'll let you introduce Roman.
Yeah, Roman Mironov is a relationship coach trained by Robbins Madanes, the official training center of Tony Robbins. He helps clients create beautiful moments in a relationship that you wish you could relive over and over. He teaches you how to be grateful for your partner, respect them, and communicate effectively. He likes to help people realize there's a potential and to live a happy lifestyle. Roman, thank you for being on the show. Welcome.
Well, Ryan, Terry, thank you so much. It's an honor, and I'm very, very happy to be with you today. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, because we explore relationships, with our food, with exercise, with life, and then also, with each other. Terry is such a big part of me getting help. Well, she's a big part of life, either way, but we work together, and she is very instrumental in helping me on this path to wellness. So, let's just talk about that. How do relationships, affect things like our eating, motivation, things like that?
Oh, they actually affect them a lot because relationships is such an important part of our life, especially the intimate relationship, the one that we have with our romantic partner. Because when we feel good in the relationship, everything else basically falls into place. But when we don't, let's say our relationship gets toxic, we tend to go to food and other addictions as a coping mechanism.
Okay, yeah, and I think it's twofold, because for me, sometimes I can be driven just the other way. Is that we're excited, things are going good, and it's always like, hey, let's go out and celebrate and have something good to eat.
We like to celebrate.
One thing that we're trying to work hard on are I guess, relating to different things as food triggers, not only in our relationship, but work and life. And it's just that, instead of having everything as a celebration point to run out and, eat some really good food, we're trying to change that to like maybe go do 5 push-ups or do an exercise, do something physical instead of going for that food.
Yeah, exactly. That's why when I celebrate, I make sure not to celebrate with food, because it really only adds to the addiction. If we're talking about addictions, makes it stronger, makes the neural pathways between food and pleasure stronger in your mind.
Right. Yeah, and I think we had a guest on this last week, and we were talking about some things that, and we try to look back in our past at relationships that we've had and things that have happened. And I've been very fortunate that I had an awesome childhood, adulthood. Life has just been very, very good for me. I'm blessed and couldn't ask for more. But the one thing that we kind of uncovered this last week was ice cream. Yeah. And, my relationship with that, as far as it being that celebratory mechanism that, as growing up, I had 2 grandpas that whenever anything, if we were working, it'd be like, let's go down, you worked really hard today, let's go celebrate with some ice cream. And then, of course, taking a break, like my dad, when I'd go to work with him, we'd be like, oh, let's take a break and run over to Dairy Queen and get this. So it's interesting that while I never really thought about it till this week, that I've carried that around in life with me, not necessarily as a negative, that something went bad and that's what triggers, but actually mainly I think maybe just the opposite. It was such a positive experience that, ice cream is kind of like my thing that I've got to be very careful with.
Yes, and it makes a lot of sense. So you associated tons of pleasure with ice cream,
Right.
and that's when, right when you want to feel great now, you just go to ice cream.
Right.
And also with your relationship with your grandparents, just anybody that you're thinking about that you had that celebratory mode with. It's like it brings up good feelings, loving feelings with that.
Yeah. And it carries over to, our spouse, our partner, because it's like, and it's not Terry's fault. It's more me. I'm the trigger. Be like, oh, we had such a good day today. Let's rush out and get something to eat. And so anyway, definitely something that we've been working on is to try to find, maybe it's just as simple as let's go take a walk instead of, making food that focal
Instead
point.
of making nachos at 1 o'clock in the morning like we did a few months ago.
Right. So what are some other things that, that we can do to strengthen those relationships? And I'm assuming that this applies not only to our loved ones, but, the relationships that we build with our families and coworkers and just, pretty much relationships in general.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think you guys are a couple that's a great role model for me. So I've been talking to you before and today, and I think that there is great energy between you. That's something that I definitely honor. And to be more specific, we need more communication. If you want to improve your relationship with the other person, remember that communication is the blood of the relationship. So one thing to do is to make sure that you engage your partner in very deep conversations, not just shallow things about day-to-day stuff, but really into deeper emotions and feelings, asking them how what they feel, and asking very specific questions. That also helps. Not just how are you, right? But how did you feel about that person saying that? Or how did you feel when you were in pain today? Those kind of high quality questions. Another tip is to always be 100% present in the conversation. So make sure that you're not distracted by anything.
Right.
Give that presence, give that gift of your presence to your partner. Look them in the eye. Be 100% there, especially if you are a man, because feminine women, they are very, very susceptible to this. And let's say the third tip is to make sure that you make your partner feel significant. You remind them that they are important to you. You praise them for every little thing. You make sure that they feel that they are appreciated, because this is important.
Yeah.
Oftentimes we just take our partners for granted and we never give them that praise or the feeling of significance.
Yeah, Roy is really good at that. I mean, he tells me how grateful he is for me. I can't even tell countless times a day, and I'm just like, oh, me? I can't take a compliment. It's really hard for me to do.
But she is. I think it's an effort between both of us, because she takes such good care of me in so many ways that it's like, oh, I've got to keep telling her, not only because she is really awesome, but also because I don't want her to think I take it for granted, or, those little bitty things that she does. I don't want her to think that they're unnoticed or overlooked. They're all just, to me, the little things are as important as the big things, probably more important day to day.
Wow, that's a beautiful level of consciousness that you're at. I can appreciate it. Yeah.
He's really good about it, and he's also really good about trying to talk things out. Trying to get to the root of causes, which I'm not. Like I'll take care of him the way that I know how, and that's cooking and doing what I need to help make sure that he's being healthy and that I'm being healthy and all of that. So I need to learn to verbalize that better. You have any tips on that? It's just hard. I don't know why it's so hard.
Oh, that is such a huge challenge for many women. And thank you so much for sharing it. And let me tell you a quick story that is a great representation of this thing. There is this marathon runner, a very popular athlete, Rich Roll, and he tells a story in his book. So what basically happened is that he was going to get married to a girl, and they have been dating for quite a long time. And at one point, they were living in different cities, let's say about 2 or 3 hours away. And at one point, they were supposed to meet. She was supposed to come to him, but she said that she couldn't. And that was about 1 month before their wedding. So they were supposed to get married. And well, he got upset and he said, okay, well, let me come to you. Let me drive. And she said, no, don't. Okay. So that was her first hint. Then they were doing the wedding rehearsal. And she didn't want to do it. There was a lot of tension. And basically what she was doing, she was showing him that she didn't want the marriage. And the rehearsal went its way, but he actually was very anxious. He thought that she might not even show up during the wedding, but she did. And they got married. And then they went to this honeymoon. I think it was in Hawaii or something like that. And in that honeymoon, they were not talking to each other. She was so angry that she told him not to talk to her at all. And so that they were basically spending it apart. And at the end of the honeymoon, on the 5th day, he was fed up with it. He said, okay, so I can't take this anymore. We should, just break up. And she said, okay. So he was very angry. They went home and they basically did not live a day together as a couple, as a married couple. And Then he went to talk to her friends. And that's when he found out that she actually had someone else. She was dating someone else at this point. And the point of the story is that she was dropping hints to him all along the way.
Yeah.
Many, many hints. But she was not saying this directly. And he was not getting those hints. And that's the point with men. They don't like hints. They want direct information, direct commands, direct orders. They're very simple in this sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has been a big issue, a huge issue between men and women, because we want men to get it. We want them to get it. You figure it out. But here's a couple of hints along the way. You just figure it out. I don't need to have to tell you. I don't know why that is.
Well, and I'm that way. Sometimes I have to tell Terry, I'm getting something here, but let's just be very clear about it, because sometimes that. Sometimes that receptor's not always dialed in. But most of the time, we've been together long enough, and I think we care enough about each other that, a lot of that stuff comes through. And maybe she says, "Oh, don't worry about it," but I know better. I need to. I need to be worrying about that. But it's like we're making a transition in our diet, and so I have been very, very quizzical about this to her, because I want to know we talked about it, but I need to make sure that this is good for her as well as good for me. And so trying to just set her down and ask her, how do you feel about this? Let's talk about it. And because I don't want, if it's not good for both of us, I don't want this to go on for a long time and then her be resentful, because that's what I see is what happens is one partner does something for the other, and they have to keep doing it, or it lasts over a period of time until they become very resentful of that.
Yes, that happens, and you need to be careful about that before. So think or discuss before you take on such a commitment.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you don't feel comfortable doing it anymore, it's okay to renegotiate.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what I keep telling her. Is this in because I think a lot of this can be generational, just like with myself. You when I was growing up, you went to work for a company and you stayed there for 30 years. You did this and you bought a house and you stayed there for your whole lifetime. And younger in life, in my 30s, that I decided that what, it's all right to change your mind as we grow and as we develop. Things change, and so we have to be able to accept it, understand it, but we have to communicate it. I mean, there's things that have changed in our relationship that I don't know what it is. I can't tell but it's just maybe a little thing that's like, hey, I don't really like that too much right this moment, not anymore. And but instead of just either letting her continue to do it or her doing it and me just festering about it, that I don't like this that much anymore, just have a just talk about it.
I like how you said.
That's right.
I like how you said you how you give permission to renegotiate because we are so set, and we just think we need to follow through.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's the best example of how we need to keep communication lines open in the relationship. And even if something is bothering us, it's okay to say this. Just make sure that you say it in a loving way.
Yeah.
And you find the right moment. That's it.
Yeah, and it's easy to lash out. This is something that I have to be careful about because we work a lot, and so we enjoy our work. We work a lot, and sometimes things get tense, not necessarily between us, but more me, like a process is breaking down, something's not clicking. It's like when you have very limited time and you have a lot of things to do, if things tick off just perfect, you can get it done and life is good. But if there's one little glitch, then it throws everything out of balance. And so, unfortunately, Terry is the closest person, and I don't ever want to lash out at her. And I have to be very careful about, hey, you know what? I'm having this problem. It has nothing to do with you, and I don't want it to run off on you. So I'm not that great, not as good as I need to be about, well, number one, not letting it fester to get that way, but also, just making sure that she doesn't get the runoff from other things that are going on in life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the correct word, runoff. That's why you want to share what's on your mind very quickly, not wait until it festers. Right. True.
Yeah, and you do a good job at that. You're very cognizant.
Well,
And I don't mean this to be the Roy and Terry show, but honestly, you really are very cognizant. I mean, hopefully at this juncture in our life, we've learned something along the way, and I think we're really applying those lessons.
Yeah, and that's something else that I feel fortunate enough about, that I just told her earlier that how I was lucky to find her and we got together, and life has been good. But how difficult is this now at older ages, or I guess people coming together at an older age when they're very set in their ways, they're set in their routines. I guess that makes it harder to mesh to become a couple.
Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. And no, because as people get more mature, they actually become more patient. They become less selfish, and they are more open to having a relationship that actually is sustainable and not just about them, but they are ready to give more, even though it might mean that they're not getting the same amount of love back.
Yeah.
So this transition, basically, that happens over our lifetime from selfishness to selflessness, it helps relationships in older age.
And they know, I think we know a little bit more about ourselves, so we know what we want or what we like, and can talk about that, can express that. Not so well like I'm doing now, but, we just know what to look for and know what that attraction is.
Exactly. Just like Roy was saying about his, wanting everything to be perfect, and if something doesn't go right, even a little thing, he might not be happy about it, and this might show. So he knows himself very well. He's very cognizant, and that's one good thing that comes from the fact that he's a mature, masculine man.
He is. You are very masculine, honey.
No, I was gonna say, I don't know. She just told me the other day that she's like, "Are you 14?" And I'm like,
12.
"Yeah,
It was 12.
Most of the time, yeah, I am 12." I'm still the little boy. I see the shiny object and have to chase it, or have to, stand on the rail that you're not supposed to stand on, or whatever it is like that. So I don't.
Or the frozen pond in the back that's not all the way frozen. That was scary.
Yeah, this winter. We had our creek behind the house iced over. I mean, like, really bad. It got so cold, and so we were down there. I don't even know why we were back there, but I was like, "Oh, let me just test that." And she's like, first she tried to talk me out of it, and then she could see she wasn't going to do that. So then she took her camera out and started. She's like, "I just want to get a picture of you when you fall through." That's another important part, I think, for us, is the laughing and having fun together. Even though we work together, we're together, a lot of time. We still take time to try to laugh and have fun, and not be serious all the time.
Wow, this is impressive, because given the fact that you guys work together, so you already spent quite a lot of time together,
yeah.
And then you have the time and the energy to also laugh together. I mean, wow, I'm impressed.
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
Humor is very important.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't seem like it's the right time to laugh,
Yeah, humor, and we have a lot of other things in common. Like, we like music, so we're able to bond over. We both have a pretty intense appreciation of music from our childhood and generation. So, we're able to bond over that. But I was just going to ask, though, as you help people with relationships, what are 2, 3, 4, 5 of the largest contributors to discord in a relationship?
Well, we actually touched upon some of them.
Yeah.
First of all is communication. So basically, a lot of people, they like to stop communication when things go wrong.
Yeah.
And basically doing it as a punishment.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's say their partner does something that they don't like, and they punish them with what I call silent treatment.
Silent treatment. Women do that a lot, I know.
Another mistake is not praising your partner, just taking them for granted too much.
Yeah.
Another mistake is taking your relationship for granted and thinking that your partner is not going anywhere. They will stay there for life. And this is not true, because you always need to be looking to introduce newness into your relationship, because newness is important for keeping passion. You might have love, you might have tons of love between each other, but if you don't have passion,
yeah,
your relationship might be doomed.
Right.
Another mistake is, let's say,
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Another mistake is not being emotional enough, not being too touchy and feely, because you need that. You need that romantic connection in addition to your regular conversational connection.
Yeah.
So, for example, be sure to give hugs, be sure to kiss your partner, be sure to smile at them all the time. This is also important.
Yeah, I definitely think that one is too. And it's funny because we still hold hands a lot, just like teenagers. And that's, like even at night when we go to sleep, sometimes it's just, my hand over on her just where I can touch her or feel her there. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of weird, but it's important just to have that connection.
And it's not weird. No, that's absolutely normal. And it's actually beautiful. I like that. Again, you guys rock.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, it is.
I'm trying to take a compliment.
Yeah. No, yeah. And it's, I think the funny part about taking things for granted is that maybe if you haven't had it, you appreciate it more. But I think it's just the opposite. The better things are between us, the more appreciative I am for her and all of those things, because it's so rare to find, two people that really mesh, I think, as good as we do on so many things. No, I'm not saying we don't have our differences or things that, I was trying to think what that was. It's, she doesn't like olives and I like olives. And so we're able to, segregate that, and it doesn't have to be a big thing. But for the big things in life, I feel like that we're pretty much on track. But there's always, some little differences that we may not always be together on, but talking about it. I think the other thing is respect, is that we have to really respect our partner and their thoughts and their feelings. I don't have to agree with her, but I just have to respect that her life circumstances have got her to this belief, and so you have to respect it.
Yeah, that's right. And what else can you do? You also have a perspective, your
Right.
own perception, right? And who knows who's right?
Yeah.
And it's better to be happy
Yeah.
than to be right.
Exactly.
Or something in the middle there, and that's what you just kind of mesh it together.
And I think that's I hate to get off on the social media tangent, but I will for just a minute. That's a, that's a problem with that, is that we try to spend so much time to convince or to talk people into having our point of view, that we really don't take the time to listen to them to see what their point of view is and why. And then the other part is that we can harmonize. It'd be a boring world if we were all carbon copies and all felt the exact same way about everything. That's what that kind of adds to the spice of life just a little bit. And the other part, I get off on this tangent too, but trying new things, is that we, Terry's a lot more conservative in that respect. And, especially as we talk about cooking and trying some new things that we're doing, is I just tell her, look, do whatever you feel, throw it out there. And, and especially it's like if it messes up or comes out bad, we can start over, or we can go up to the restaurant and get something. We're not going to, we're not going to starve to death. But, you hear of people that it's like the wife makes something bad and then it turns into a fuss. And, I don't really get that. But I encourage her, do something different. It's okay.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one reason you guys have each other. For example, as a masculine man, and having her as a feminine woman, in your life, one of your goals is to challenge her in a positive way. And that's how you do it. So she is a little bit more conservative, as you say. You are there to give her new challenges.
Right.
And that's one of them.
He does.
He
really does. Staying in the food genre, I fried up, I guess it was fried up, some tempeh. Never had done that before. We didn't know what it was going to turn out to be. But I don't.
Oh my gosh!
Awesome. It was lots of prepping and everything, and then you fry it up and put all your stuff on. It turned out to be pretty good. I just hate doing all that to know that it's not going to turn out bad. Isn't that terrible? I need to try new things.
Yeah, and it's
good.
Yeah, and it's even like, we've been kind of locked down and haven't been out of the house much, but it's like the other thing is the spontaneity. I'm not sure which one of us is more spontaneous. I think we are at different times on different subjects, but it's like it was like we were just sitting on the couch one night, and I got an email from a place that has music, and it just said, the first 50 people get free tickets for, as a cover band, a couple of cover bands. We liked the bands that they were covering. And so, I just sent an email in not expecting to win. And then I got a message back like, oh, you're the winner. And so, it was like the next night or two, we just loaded up, went to this place, and we had an amazing time. The music was good. We found a couple bands, but the place was good. And, it was just kind of fun to do something on a whim.
Oh yeah, this is so important. This is important again because it introduces newness in the relationship, and it also, when we become too conservative, we start feeling older. And this is not conducive to love. This is not conducive to passion. But when we go back a little bit to that younger mindset, right, when we could slip in, when we had less responsibilities, and so on and so forth, we feel younger. Let's say you go out and you spend a wild night and you come home at 4 a.m. This is something that makes you feel young, and that sort of re-energizes your passion in the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about how much older I'm going to feel the next day. See, that's me holding back.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? You can sleep all day. It doesn't matter. We don't have anywhere to be, so we can go do that kind of stuff. And I think it's fun. It's just new adventures, and that we are both fairly up for adventures, and so I think that's the other thing is just having these adventures, experiencing things together, and the memories that it provides, because we have those things. It's like, oh my gosh, you remember that concert we went to and this happened, and it's those are pleasant too. It's like when it is a slow time and you're just kind of sitting around not doing much and thinking about all these things. It's just I think it adds to that pleasure from your partner as well.
Yeah, it does. For sure. Yeah.
Well, Roman, we appreciate you taking time to stop by and talk to us today. Any closing words? Any closing thoughts on relationships before we wrap it up?
Yeah. One thought is that you need to treat your relationship, a romantic one, as an important area of your life, like your business or your health. You spend time in those areas, right? Both with your business and your health. And you also want to spend time, invest time and effort into your relationship. Yeah. If you live it as is, it will die pretty soon.
Right.
So you want to at least read books about it. Read books and get better at it.
Yeah.
So that you make sure that you stay motivated and you have the right information, the right resources to keep your partner happy.
Yeah.
Don't take it for granted.
That's it. Don't take it.
Do you have any books off the top of your head? Any recommendations that you can think of? If not, don't worry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I just thought maybe you might have one.
I would say 2 books. The first one is a general one, but it speaks a lot about all things relationship-wise, and this Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Okay.
And the second one is by Sharon Salzberg, called Real Love.
Okay. Yeah, and I think it's interesting. I'm glad you bring that up because, again, I can speak for me in that is a deficit in our relationship because we do something that we really enjoy. And so it's easy to spend It's easy to spend a lot of time. It's like there's never an end to the things that we could do. Even if we get things done that we've got to have done, there's still always looking at this new form of marketing, looking at this new technology, looking at this. Maybe we want to twist this or tweak that. So anyway, and this gets back to the communication, is that Terry is we are confident enough in our relationship. She can tap me on the shoulder and say, all right, you're done. And then,
and he'll say, what? I'll be there in a minute. And I'll say, your minute or my minute, right. Because they're two different things.
Right. Yeah. And it's easy to get hung up in that it just never ends. And so, taking that time, if we're going to invest, like you said, we invest time and money in our businesses, in our homes, and in a lot of things, that we need to take that same approach to our relationships and, really invest. And it's time. It's not, thank goodness Terry is not, she's not high dollar maintenance, so that's not an issue. But, just taking that time out of our day to, really be together, to have those conversations. It's truly important. I think that's where people, kind of miss out some, is that you got, especially when you have kids, you got kids pulling you one way, you've got parents, you've got your job. And then, if you go out and do stuff with friends, that it just, it really divides your time down to where you don't have enough to devote to your relationship. And that's the cool thing with Terry and me. It's like we're best friends, so we like to hang out with each other even outside of work. We like to go do things together. So
yes,
yeah,
you are an inspirational couple.
Well, thanks.
Aw, that's sweet.
Well, we're trying. We have to work at it, but. All right, Roman. Well, tell everybody, if somebody needs some relationship coaching, how can they get a hold of you?
Yes. The best way is to go to the website, which is romanmironov.com, spelled as ROMANMIRONOV.com. And there you have all the links to my social media and the ability to contact me for a free coaching session. And if you mention that you're coming off Roy and Terry's podcast, I'll be happy to give you a 30% discount.
Oh, wow. Nice. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And you have a podcast as well, correct?
Yes.
And is it just under your name, or is it called something else?
It's called Be Version 2 of Yourself.
Okay.
All right, great. Well, y'all go out and give a listen if you need some help in a relationship. And well, let me say it this way. Don't wait till you need help in a relationship. Yeah. Seek out somebody like Roman that can be preemptive, and don't wait till there's a problem. Get the tools that you need to have a successful relationship, because it spills over into everything. I have a business show I was talking about, and we were just talking about, you can't park your emotions at the door to work, and same thing, coming home. You can't park your work stuff at the door. Everything is all intermingled. And so for us to have a happy, productive life at work, we have to have a happy, productive life at home. And, again, I'm blessed to have somebody that supports me in everything. And I know that she's my biggest champion, and, there's nobody in this world that I want to see succeed more than her. So I think it's important to, get out in front of that. Don't wait till it's don't
emergency.
Don't wait till it's a train wreck to try to clean up the mess. Get out there ahead of the game and make it happen where you can continue to be happy in that relationship.
Ditto.
Yeah. That is golden.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for another episode of Feeding Fatty. I'm Roy.
This is Terry.
You can always find us at www.feedingfatty.com. We're also on all the major social media platforms, as well as the podcast platforms, iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Spotify. If we're not on one in which you listen to, if you'll reach out, we'll certainly be glad to add you. So thanks for listening. Until next time, take care of yourself and take care of your family.